Okay, now,
Okay.
okay. Good evening, everyone. Today's presentation will be about the analysis on population growth and foreign direct investment towards economic growth for Zimbabwe from 1985 to 2018. According to a study done by Dean Baker in 2005, it's predicted that the slow growth of population has partially caused the economic growth in high-income countries is likely to be relatively slow in coming years. It was also argued that the issue of population growth has been and will continuously remain problematic as there are more finite resources that are available on Earth are getting exhausted due to the inevitable usage by the people. According to a study done by Adam Samuel in 2009, it shows that even though the flow of FDI increased in sub-Saharan African countries in the 1990s, the increase did not lead to a proportionate positive impact of FDI on economic growth. Also, the FDI crowds out domestic investment. Therefore, any positive effect of FDI on economic growth may be due to an increase in the total factor productivity rather than the augmentation of domestic capital. Unfortunately, the relationship between FDI and economic growth in Zimbabwe does not receive enough and satisfied attention in the literature. So our group finds that it is necessary to shed more light on the relationship between FDI and economic growth in Zimbabwe. Despite Zimbabwe was being one of the richest countries, there was a paradox of less FDI attracted into the country due to the mineral endowment in the Southern African Development Community region. It was believed that FDI effect in technology dispersal is compulsory for economic growth through a procedure of capital deepening. Nevertheless, the fact that FDI has a helpful impact on economic growth has been broadly challenged. It has been said that the diversity of economic, legal, political, and cultural factors are the main causes of the productive results of FDI in the host economy. For instance, the positive results of FDI can be achieved only when each individual income of the host states is high. Anyhow, the famous theory of the link between population growth and economic growth, which is the Malthusian population trap, indicates the subsistence grows arithmetically being subjected to the law of diminishing returns, while the human population grows geometrically. Conversely, Michael agreed that rapid population growth retards economic growth. In this methodology, it simply means that the process is used to collect data in two different ways, such as quantitative and qualitative, to determine the significance between variables and its short run and long run relationship. In the research framework, we will see that gross domestic product will be the dependent variable, while population growth and foreign direct investment will be the independent variable. In the statistic model specification, we have used one of the regression analysis, which is the simple regression model, to examine the relationship between variables. In the unit root test, it used to analyze the stationarity in a time series. It is used to solve the problem of time series, such as determine each variable is stationary in level form of stationary after the first differentiation. Ordinary least square is the statistical method that estimates the relationship between one or more independent variables and a dependent variable. In the co-integration test, it used to analyze non-stationary in a time series and estimates the long-run relationship between properties of variables. For the research design, our group has used the quantitative method and secondary data, which is performing the analysis data but not the data collector. Last but not least, our group has also used the data collection. Data collection include the 35 years of population growth, foreign direct investment, and GDP had been adopted for Zimbabwe from World Bank indicator. In the result and discussion section, in this section, we have used unit root test and co-integration test to investigate the relationship between the foreign direct investment and population towards gross domestic product in Zimbabwe from the year 1985 to 2018. Unit root test is used to determine the stationarity of variables and stationarity in a time series of the chosen variables to ensure the reliability of the result. Also, the data is tested based on the augmented Dickey-Fuller unit root test. Okay, this table shows the results of the unit root test at level form and the unit root test based on augmented Dickey-Fuller testing on intercept and both intercept and trend respectively. Based on the results, all the variables are stationary at level I when the ADF unit root is tested on the intercept only, and both intercept and trend mainly because of the variables is below the significance level, which is 10%, 5%, and 1%. But for the part of both intercept and trend, the result shows that population is not stationary. Therefore, we can conclude that the ADF unit root testing intercept show that the variables of GDP, unemployment, and foreign direct investment at level I are stationary, but the result for both intercept and trend has shown that population is not stationary. So we have decided to use intercept only rather than both intercept and trend in our results. However, we have also used co-integration tests to achieve our research objective. In our study, we find that ordinary least square is more suitable to be used since the result of ADF unit root testing intercept only shown that all the variables are integrated at level I, which indicates the variables are significant. Besides that, we have also included two main hypothesis statements. The first assumption is that the population has significant impact on economic growth, while the second assumption is the foreign direct investment has significant impact on economic growth. This table shows the result of ordinary least square. So based on the results just now, the model shown that there's an adjusted R squared of 0.214813, which means that the variation of economic growth can be explained by 21% of independent variables, while the F statistic of 4.24 shows that regression is significant, which indicates at least one independent variable will give significant impact on economic growth. In addition, the OIS result shows that the impact of foreign direct investment on economic growth is positive and significant. The coefficient of foreign direct investment, about 1.7261, is significant for the p-value of obtaining a t-value for this coefficient as much as about 1.6849 with 5% significant level. This coefficient of foreign direct investment represents that when foreign direct investment increased by 1%, it causes the GDP to increase by 1.721%. In that case, we can clearly conclude that foreign direct investment has significant impact on the economic growth in Zimbabwe. Moreover, the result of also proved that population has positive and significant impact on the economic growth. The coefficient of 3.8554 is statistically significant for the p-value of obtaining a t-value for this coefficient as much as about 2.7443 with 5% significance level. So this indicates that when the population is increased by 1%, while other variables remain constant, it will cause the GDP to increase by an average of 3.8554%. Based on the results, we conclude that the population has significant and positive impact towards the economic growth in Zimbabwe. Hence, the result of the estimation equation, it indicates that there is co-integration between the foreign direct investment, real interest rate, and in economic growth. Lastly, based on this table of results of hypothesis testing, hypothesis 1 is accepted because the significant level is more than 99%. And this simply means that the result is confident enough to prove the hypothesis. The result for hypothesis 2 has also been accepted as the significant level is more than 95%, which also means that the result is confident to prove this hypothesis. In conclusion, the Zimbabwean government must attract more foreign direct investment in order to improve the welfare and growth of the country. By opening up more of the informal economy share also has another effect on the country's ability to attract investment. Thank you. So guys, now is the Q&A section. Is there any questions to ask?
Yes, I have a question.
Okay, Mr. Wuhan.
Does FDI really help Zimbabwe's economy?
Yes, indeed. Based on the statistic from the World Bank in 2011, FDI actually grew by 84% from 1980 to 1985. while FDI as a percentage of GDP actually went up by 122% during the same period.
Okay, thank you.
Welcome. So next question.
May I ask a question? Which countries provide foreign direct investment to Zimbabwe?
China is the main investor in Zimbabwe, while Russia, Iran, and India are also important investors in the country.
Oh, I see. Thank you.
Welcome.
Sorry for interrupt. Can I know what are the determinants of invert FDI to Zimbabwe since independence?
Okay, most of the inward flows of FDI to Zimbabwe since independence have been resource seeking, especially targeting and entering the mining sector. The key minerals and metals that have attracted direct investments are gold, diamonds, platinum, chrome, and also coal.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Welcome.
Sorry, I have a question. What are the incentives given by Zimbabwe attract FDI?
Okay, so the incentives that are given by the Zimbabwe to attract FDI is that they include tax breaks for new investment by foreign and domestic companies, and allowing capital expenditures on new factories, machinery, and improvements to be fully tax deductible. So the government also waived import taxes and surtaxes on capital equipment.
Okay, thank you.
Hey, Chua, does the population has a negative or positive impact on the economic growth in Zimbabwe?
Population growth is a positive impact on economic growth in Zimbabwe. The population growth actually increases in Zimbabwe leads to an increase in the need for goods and services, and also boost technological advancements. Besides that, the increase of population growth will also increase the labor supply for industrialization.
I have a question.
Yeah.
What factor affect the population growth explosion in Zimbabwe? Can you answer my question?
Okay, sure. Actually, the factors that affect the population growth in Zimbabwe is that the healthcare to the rural population, economic prosperity, and the success of the food policy.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Welcome.
Hi, Michael. I want to ask what is the key to control the birth rate in Zimbabwe?
Okay, the key to control the birth rate in Zimbabwe is to engage more women in regular wage earning employment. Policies which provide greater economic opportunities for women, professional or otherwise, will encourage them to regulate their own fertility.
Sorry for the interrupt. I want to know what is the trend of population growth in Zimbabwe.
Okay, the increasing population will occur other emerging aspects of populations and related issues like HIV, AIDS, STI, gender, and the environment. In addition, the economy has experienced chronic problems of high rates of inflation, high budget deficit, high employment levels, and etc.
Okay, thank you.
Ask the last question before we end this session. As the Malaysia government, what do you consider if you invest in Zimbabwe?
Okay, strong points to attract FDI is the abundant mineral resources, platinum, such as platinum, gold, diamond, nickel, agricultural wealth such as maize, tobacco, and cotton, potential for tourism development, membership of the Southern African Development Community (SADC). The weak points of hindering FDI is the economic and financial situation hit by a long period of hyperinflation, shortage of cash, underinvestment in infrastructures, especially energy infrastructure. Lastly is the AIDS prevalence rate among the highest in Africa and in the world.
Thank you.
So that's the end for our presentation and also Q&A section. So I'll see you guys soon. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.